unlimited free energy identified. For several years I have been researching alternative energy. I have read everything I could find on the subject. I have built many devices. Here is a Vogel crystal inside a copper coil. This is used to add life to water and other liquids. A portable wood gasifier made from recycled components. Experimental wind turbines using a ceiling fan on one and a treadmill motor on the other. Motion is caused by the air to vortex spin within the blade. Geet multi-fuel devices. Air-fueled motor attempts. A unique device that reclaims energy from urine and heat. I have built over 100 of these unique design water fuel cells. These water fuel cells separate water into hydrogen and oxygen. Attached to an engine, economy, power, and emissions are improved. I have installed these on over a dozen vehicles. The point is, all this study and experimentation has brought me to a very important realization. Absolute 0 degrees is 459 degrees below zero. If our air was in outer space, it would be absolute 0 degrees. Instead, our air is heated by the sun. Our air is like a giant battery full of inextinguishable energy. When it is 50 degrees outside, the air is 509 degrees above absolute 0. It has so much stored energy, you can never use it all. Space energy, zero-point energy, aether, ether, etc. are all the same thing, except when applied to gravity or magnetism, but all remain united in the concept of being electrical in base nature. Many devices have been made which are actually just removing the heat energy from the air. Here is absolute 0 scale. In the late 1970s, Lee Rogers invented a modification that allowed his V8 powered car to run on air. This is a drawing from his patent. The air leaving the engine was 40 to 50 degrees cooler than the air going in. You could say the fuel powering the engine was heat, and a portion of the heat was being used to run the engine. Many people have made devices which extract a form of electricity from the air. This electricity is clearly high voltage. Yet they often touch it and it does not harm them. Tesla knew about this. What did he discover? That when the high voltage was pulsed at a frequency of over 2,000 times a second, it did not seem harmful. I propose that this unseen, high voltage, high frequency electricity in the air is the same heat energy from the sun. My best proof is lightning. Until now, lightning was not fully understood. The main cause of lightning remains a matter of debate, but NASA states that it occurs as a result of hot and cold air coming into contact. I propose that when warm air is rapidly cooled by cool air, the high voltage, high frequency current, heat stored in the warm air has nowhere to go but is released in a direct current discharge, lightning. Now that we understand that this massive quantity of heat that is stored in our air is also high voltage, high frequency electricity, we can use countless methods to extract this unlimited energy. Now the mystery of where zero-point energy comes from has been resolved. It is the heat in the air. That stored heat is for us, clean, abundant, unlimited in supply, easy and economical to access. Everywhere on this planet, the air is well over minus 459 degrees Fahrenheit. This sun-heated air is storing energy. Access to clean energy is available everywhere. Addendum. I had noticed a lack of comments on this video, so it seems more explanation is required. The Tesla coil probably provides the simplest method of demonstrating the free energy in the air. Looking at these sparks, you probably think that they are emitted from the coil tower. They are not. Just as when you whistle for a dog and it comes running, you are in effect using a device to induce the dog to come. The energy that you expend is minimal in comparison with the energy and result that you receive. The Tesla coil is an inducer. It supplies persuasion to attract the massive energy charges that you see. The energy induced or attracted can be thousands of times more powerful than the energy acting as the persuader or attractor. The energy attracted to this Tesla coil could likely supply power to every house on this street. How? Let's conservatively say those sparks are 1 million volts at 1/10 of an amp. 1 million volts at 1/10 of an amp can be transformed to 100,000 volts at 1 amp, or 10,000 volts at 10 amps, or 1,000 volts at 100 amps, or 100 volts at 1,000 amps. That's enough to supply power to at least 10 homes and possibly up to 20. Here is a very basic drawing of the Tesla coil. The whistle or inducer is on the left. The tower with the secondary winding is not connected to the inducer whistle. Yet huge volumes of high voltage, high frequency electricity pass into it at the top and go wasted into the ground. A few devices like this could supply power to a city, pulling electricity from the air where it is being stored as heat. In 1932, Tesla powered a car like this with an electric motor. The car had a standard battery, yet could drive all day, all month, all year on electricity coming from the air. The car was silent and could go 90 miles an hour. I will add a link for more info. This is a drawing of possible wiring for the car. It had 1 or 2 antenna devices instead of a Tesla coil. This is a patent drawing for a Tesla wireless light bulb, again, taking electricity from the air. This is Tesla's tower from which he claimed to be able to broadcast electricity. Homes would receive the wireless electricity with the appropriate device. The project lost funding and was never completed. The investors believed that there would be no way to collect money from customers. They were right. I believe that this tower was just a hoax to make people think it was giving them power, when in actuality, the device that was installed at their home was getting power right from the air, right there. The investors probably figured out that eventually the customers would understand this. Using a variation of the Tesla coil, like one that was used on Tesla's electric car, free electricity in enormous supply is available. Even Tesla himself admits that he did not know where the energy came from. Can I tell you how I finally put all this understanding together?